Tremendous here, and I got another book review here for you. This is books or short story 6 of Starships and Apocalypse, Volume 2, Time and Terror, is a collection of short stories by Andrew P. McGregor. It's still science fiction, still published April 4th, 2021, and this one is 18 pages long. I got a lot to say about this one, so let's get to it. So this is all going to be a spoiler-filled review. There's really no way to do a spoiler-free review of an 18-page story. Short stories are just impossible to do like that. So if you don't like spoilers, please stop the video, click the link in the description below, buy the book, read the story, come back, let me know what you think. Was I right? Was I wrong? Was there somewhere in between? Love to have a conversation. If you're still here, I guess you don't have a problem with spoilers, and I respect that. The main character in this one is a Dr. Mia Garcia. There's another guy, Teb, but he's more like the antagonist. He's kind of an idiot. So I don't really count them as a main character. It's just the cheese that the mouse is running after. The plot in this one is Dr. Mia has to go after her colleague, Teb. Teb has lost his mind because he just found out that humanity evolved from ancient aliens' poop. That's right. Zillions of years ago, a big creepy alien explored Earth, jumped in the ocean, pooped in the ocean, and a few zillion years later, we evolved from the bacteria in his poop. I thought that was great. It had real, what's it called? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibes to it. Really enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, Mia has to go down to this husk world because her and Teb are the human ambassadors to that planet, and they have diplomatic immunity. They have the ability to go on this planet. Anybody else that sets foot on this planet will be immediately vaporized per the lore. So yeah, only these two can, and it's we'll get into it in just a second, but yeah, she's gotta go down there, and this husk world is basically built around a black hole. I mean, we're talking light years big here. So the deeper they get into the husk world, the lower levels they get, the slower time is in the normal world, in reality, however you want to see it. So the lower the level is that they go in order to the lower the level Mia has to go to chase Teb, the slower time gets in the real world, and that becomes an issue. Kind of, but not really. Anyway, we'll get over that in just a second. Again, cover, editing, story flow, feel, no problem, no issue with any of it. It's excellent, and I expect nothing less from this author. So the story starts with Teb transporting, and keep in mind, that's important. He teleports, he transports to the planet. That's very important in a little bit. But he freaks out because he finds out that humans are evolved from alien poop, and he can't accept that. It's all a lie, the cake isn't real, and he's going down to the husk world to prove otherwise, to confront the alien that did this, and needless to say, since his mind's not right, and we're the newest species to be introduced to these aliens and everything like that, and he's the ambassador, if he puts off a bad interaction, if he does something that would be considered annoying, wrong, bad, all of humanity will be eradicated. Also, a galaxy-wide civil war could occur, causing trillions of deaths, which is super interesting. And again, I'm going to get to that in just a second. The husk world consists of about 21, 22 levels. Top floor is regular time, and for every floor you go down, time slows down more and more and more. By the time you get to the third level, you're experiencing time at half the regular speed as everyone on the first floor is, and it gets a lot worse as you get down. The lower level, Teb, like I said, goes nuts because he found out humanity evolved from alien poop, which is hilarious. I love that. And he wants to go and confront the alien responsible. I have no idea why. It makes no sense. I don't know what Teb thinks he's going to do. But the humans in this particular short story are incredible idiots, and I'll explain why in just a second. So Mia is the only one that can go after him. Nobody else can. Even the aliens and the security and the people down there, whatever. The aliens, the only humans down there will be Teb and Mia. are they won't intervene, and the reason is kind of convoluted. I don't like the reasoning at all. I think it's garbage. I think this author could do a lot better for the reasoning why Mia has to go down there. Just off the top of my head, they're going to eradicate him, but Mia doesn't want him to be eradicated because, you know, humanity is humanity. Please give me the opportunity to go down there and stop him myself. If I can't, then you can eradicate him. You know, something along those lines. Please don't let one of the first interactions between our people and aliens be the human ambassador being vaporized in front of everyone. It would be difficult for us to recover from that. There's your excuse, not this, well, you're the only two that have gone through this weird I don't know, ritual of unending or something like that, where basically you're ambassadors of your people, so you have diplomatic immunity on our planet, which for some reason makes it so that you can literally do everything, have access to everything. It's the most ridiculous notion I've ever read. I hate it. I hate everything about the reasoning for sending Mia down there after Teb. The fact that Teb was just able to go without immediately being stopped. It's aggravating. It feels wrong. It feels manufactured, and it feels sloppy. It feels lazy. This author is better than that, and I expect more. Also, Mia is a complete moron. I mean, so is Teb, but it's like, so she knows there's going to be time distortion. This is well documented in the first few pages of the story. The deeper you go into the Husk world, the closer you get to the black hole, which means the slower time is going to go because of the time distortion and everything like that. That all makes sense. That all checks out. Mia is well aware of this. So instead of immediately going after Teb, who, if he goes down to the third level, is leaps and bounds ahead of her because his time is moving light speeds quicker than her time, she takes a day to relax while the aliens set up her time, her authority. I don't know. She spends a day in a spa drinking wine with her husband while Teb is running around on this Husk world doing God knows what. They're worried about him causing a inter-universal incident that will lead to a galactic civil war and potentially get humanity extinguished from the universe. And she spends a full day, a 100% full day, relaxing in the spa with her husband drinking wine. I'm not kidding. That's from the story. That makes no sense. Teb certainly didn't require anything to stop him from just teleporting down to the planet. So why does Mia suddenly need all this paperwork and all these arrangements made? Not only does Teb have all the decorum and hospitality and resources at his disposal the minute he gets down there that Mia has, but he's got a 24-hour head start, or a full day head start, or how many hours that is where they're at, and they're just cool with that? That makes, oh my gosh, we have to hurry up and stop him from causing an inter-universal incident and causing the extinction of humanity. But first, Spa Day! I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. I read the story 3 times to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And no, it's completely and totally out there. It doesn't make any sense, and I hate it. And that's the kind of the reoccurring thing that happens throughout the story. Nothing makes any sense. This entire story is written on Swiss cheese. There are so many plot holes on it. And I'm sorry, I hate to talk like this about the book. This author is fantastic, but this story, it almost feels like it wasn't his. I don't even know. I don't know what happened with this one. Anyway, she goes after Teb after taking a full day, knowing that the time distortion is going to be a factor and that she might never see her husband again. Like, she might be down there for hundreds of years while, for him, to her, it'll be a few hours, but to him, hundreds, if not thousands of years will pass, which means he's dust. She goes. Like, no, and not only that, but she takes nothing with her. No weapons, no armor, no computer. She's got her spacesuit, and that's it. Not even so much as a zip tie to restrain Teb once she gets down there. I don't understand, like, what she thought she was going to do when she gets down there. So she gets down to the hub, or to the Husk world, and is met up with this big metal ball thing. The metal ball is fantastic because the metal ball was my entire thought process, my perspective of what was happening. So Mia is instantly rude to this thing, just a complete scumbag. Like, take me here, do this, what's going on? And the metal ball literally tells her, you're kind of stupid, aren't you? Don't talk to me like that. I know I'm just a guide, but you will talk to me with respect. Oh my God, the metal ball should be in every single one of this author's stories because I love the metal ball. He's great. Every time he would say something like, that's what I was thinking. Love the metal ball. Really do. I know, I have issues. I can't help it. So anyway, like one of her questions, she's on this train, right? The whole story is running down corridors, to trains or elevators. The elevators go up and down, the trains go side to side, and running is everywhere. And I'm going to get to that in just a second because in the beginning of the book, the first few pages, Mia specifically says she has a personal teleportation device. She's talking about how this ship had to come and meet up with him, and it took them weeks to travel from point A to point B when her personal teleportation device could have gotten her there in seconds, which means her teleportation device can travel the cosmos. Traveling on a husk world should have been very, very easy, yet she's running everywhere. What the hell? I mean, that is a massive plot. This story should have been 3 pages long. Teb went to the planet. I teleported after him, grabbed him, teleported him back up to the stage, and my husband and I drowned him in the spa and then drank wine. The end. There, I got it. No international or no inter-universal conflict, no humanity being eradicated. In fact, most aliens don't even realize Teb trespassed or whatever it was on the planet. The end. It's that easy. It's a button push, but that never comes up. I don't know why it's in the story. I don't know why it's so prominently talked about or made an example of and defined for it to not come into effect whatsoever. It's hugely aggravating, but again, it's the Swiss cheese thing. That's what this story was written on, so you're going to find all the holes. So, like I said, she gets down there and she's worried about causing an inter-universal incident by offending the aliens, and immediately proceeds to do so. I'm not kidding. It's ridiculous what happens on her chase after Teb. She's running through the corridors to get to trains that are running all over this husk world on all the different levels, or an elevator that goes in between them all. As she's running, the ball is kind of running as a defensive blocker, moving people out of the way, shoving them out of the way. Literally, the story says elderly citizens of the husk world are being shoved out of the way by Metal Ball and Mia as they run from train to elevator to corridor to what have you. At one point, she actually like slams into some sort of octopus looking alien thing, which is super cool, but it's like super offended. Like you can tell this thing's like, what the heck is wrong with you? And she turns around, she does try to apologize. I'll give you that, but the metal ball's like, yeah, it doesn't speak your language. I'm not going to bother to translate it because apologizing to that thing's probably just going to make it angrier at you. So let's just keep going. So everything she's down there to stop, she's causing. And again, has a personal transportation system. Why don't you just use that? Why are you running down corridors when you could just talk to Metal Ball and say, Metal Ball, I have teleportation technology. Can I link it to you and you can move me from A to B? Metal Ball goes, oh, wow, that's like an Atari compared to the, Xbox Series X we're working with now. That shouldn't be a problem at all. Click, click, boop, and we've got them. Awesome. Thanks for all your help, Metal Ball. You're fantastic. So that doesn't happen though, and there's a lot of running, a lot of sprinting, and at one point she almost misses an elevator or a transport or a train at some point. I don't understand why they would stop, why it'd be the last one or anything like that, or why that would even be an issue. I mean, do they shut down in the middle of the quote unquote day? I'm so confused about that. It made no sense. It felt like manufactured tension, and I don't like that. It wasn't well done. It wasn't well introduced, and it just doesn't make any sense at all on this husk world that basically spans light years all around this black hole. I didn't get it. So Teb easily evades her. He's got a full day ahead of her, but for some reason, he's only like 500 yards ahead of her at any given point. But it's far enough that she can't close the gap because she's incompetent and an idiot. I just don't understand, like, So in the book, she says, "Why don't you stop him?" And the metal ball says, "We can't because he's got diplomatic immunity. So we have to wait for him to cause an incident, cause a horrendous incident before we can intervene and kill him because he's an ambassador just like you and has diplomatic immunity." Now, I don't want to say that the alien species that run and live this on this husk world are stupid, but they're unbelievably stupid. Like, maybe they're even contagious, which would explain a lot of Mia and Teb's actions throughout the story, because it's mind-blowingly stupid how dumb that is. Anybody with ambassador status, which would be a lot of people given how many alien species are on this planet, and apparently how low the barrier of entry is for this, because two stupid humans got this access, and Mia didn't even realize it. Teb might have, but Mia didn't even realize she had that status. It had to be explained to her in the beginning of the story. So anyway, what that tells me is if you can get ambassador status, which doesn't sound difficult to do, you can go anywhere, access anywhere on this husk world, and nothing will stop you at all for any reason. In fact, you'll get your own metal ball, which will give you keys to the entire planet. So if you wanted to do something, some sort of espionage, some sort of sabotage, some sort of assassination, some sort of information gathering, nothing is stopping you. In fact, metal ball will help you facilitate your sabotage, espionage, whatever you want to do. It's cool because diplomatic immunity makes you Jesus Christ incarnate on this planet. No sense whatsoever. One of the craziest, worst things I could think of in order to put them on this planet and let them run around like that. They literally have unfettered access to all the sensitive areas on this husk world, and it makes no sense. It'd be like somebody from France with diplomatic immunity ambassadorship coming over to America and immediately getting, I don't know, access to the White House and, walk right up to the president with a weapon or something like that. And the Secret Service is just sitting there like, stand by. We have to wait until they commit the felony to stop them. And they're gone. Cool. Now we can move in and let's eradicate France for the trouble. Do you see where I'm going with this? I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating to clarify, but I'm actually not. That's what happens. There are ancient aliens that live in the lower levels of this husk world that if bothered, annoyed, irritated, giggled, if you make them laugh, this is in the story, it could cause an inter-universal civil war. Basically, war on a scale where tens, if not thousands of trillions of beings would be killed. And they're just letting this barely evolved monkey in a suit whose mind has snapped, but because he's got ambassadorship titles and diplomatic immunity, we're going to go ahead and put hundreds of trillions of entities' lives at risk. Explain to me how that makes sense. If you can go into the comment section and explain to me how that makes sense, I will send you an autographed hardback copy of my entire series. That's how confident I am that you will not be able to do it because it literally makes no sense. So eventually Teb, probably because of the metal ball, he's running around all over the station. They're going up the elevators to the top levels, down the elevators to like the 7th level, and there's a lot of time dilation, right? And every single time it happens, Mia's idiot, she freaks out. Like, she's surprised that it's happening. As she's going down an elevator to like 3rd level, she's having trouble communicating with her husband on the ship because of the time distortion. And it surprises her when she gets deeper. It's like, oh, the time is happening, and she gets surprised again. It's like, this was well talked about before you touched this planet, and why do you keep getting confused about it? Well, Teb, he ends up going down to the very bottom level, level 21, 22. So she does the math, and this is really cool of the author. He does the math for you and explains that basically every hour she spends on level 21 will be 240 years to her husband on the normal time scale or whatever. So basically she spends 15 minutes down on this planet. Her husband is dust. She's never going to see him again. And she throws a literal temper tantrum in the elevator. I'm not kidding. She screams, she cries, she punches the elevator walls. A literal 5-year-old's temper tantrum because of what's happening. This was 100% a possibility. In fact, it was an inevitability because Teb literally says he wants to confront the alien that pooped us out. And that's the only thing that makes sense. Maybe not the very bottom level, I'll give you that. But he was going to go to one of the levels where time distortion was going to seriously mess things up. At a minimum, her husband was going to be kind of like in his 90s, maybe his hundreds by the time she got back. So the fact that this didn't register that is no IQ friggin' chromosome collector pisses me off, especially her temper tantrum in the elevator. She throws such a violent temper tantrum that she knocks herself out due to maybe exhaustion or blacks out. I don't know, but eventually she gets woke up. So probably she just slept through 300, 400, 500 years potentially on the normal time scale, because I don't know how long this elevator ride takes, but it takes a long time. So she gets to the bottom level. Teb has beaten her there, and they get unfettered access to the alien, this super ancient alien that occupies this level, okay? He occupies this area. That's all you really know. It's not described super crazy, but basically it's this creature's lair. He does look like a rhinoceros-scorpion combo, which I think might be the coolest combo I've ever seen or heard of anyway. I guess I didn't really see it. Sorry, it was all in my head. But he meets this alien, right? And what Mia sees when she gets there is Teb latched on to this alien's scorpion leg, repeating the words, "You're not my God." That was what Teb wanted to do. He flips out, goes onto this planet, risks intercosmos civil war where hundreds of trillions of beings could die. Not only that, but the eradication of humanity is a certainty. And also he could grab onto this thing's leg and say, "You're not my God." I would have killed the human race myself, okay? That's how disgusted I was with this. And what made it worse, what tripled down the disgust that I felt in my soul for this story, was Mia gets there, sees Teb doing exactly what she's there to prevent to happen. She fails her mission like completely. There is no aspect of her mission she succeeds in at all. She does nothing. She doesn't apologize to the alien. She doesn't try to pull Teb off. She doesn't try to restrain him. She doesn't immediately shoot him in the head because she doesn't have a weapon or a knife or a zip tie or a piece of paper. She has nothing with her. She stands there, clenches her fists, and watches as Teb literally causes this alien to have a whole bunch of, he's like kicking this guy off, like, "Get off me. How are you in here?" Like, the alien was us. Like, how did you get in here? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Don't touch me. Get off of me. Literally kicks Teb off of him and is like, "Is everybody just going to come down here in a minute? Am I going to be swarmed by these friggin' cockroaches? What is going on?" And the metal ball's like, "Yeah, this was a human that you pooped out. They evolved from your poop on Earth." He's like, "I'm not a god. I'm nothing like that. Leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with you. Go away." And then he asks the metal ball, "Where did they come from? When did they when was their origin?" And the metal ball tells him when they showed up on the Husk planet. He taps something into an interface, opens a wormhole, and then throws Mia and Teb into the wormhole to within a few minutes of when they first teleported down to the planet. Mia wakes up in her husband's arms, Teb's in jail, and everything is good. Everything is happy. Why Teb is in jail doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because all he did was teleport down to the planet real quick. Allegedly. They might have teleported him back up to the planet or up to their ship before he even took off. I don't know. But basically, everything that happened in this story didn't happen. All their concern, all their worries, everything that they did, it was completely erased. It was a wasted, pointless story because the time travel made it so that none of that happened. Teb transported to the Husk world. Mia teleported to the Husk world, which is confusing because Mia left a full day after Teb. So there's a continuity error there. There's a time dilation error there. There's so many errors in this story that not even the horrible ending makes any sense. This is why this story sickens me so much, because this author is so much better than this, and this story doesn't make any sense. It's so bad, I can't even think of a way to fix it. My advice would be to just delete it from the series and pretend like it never happened, because it didn't. Even the story didn't happen because the time travel thing stops it from occurring. Everything that happened, 16, 17 pages worth of story, just erased by that one line. He teleports him back through the time stream. Therefore, none of this ever happened. They went with the happy ending. Wayne and Garth were thrilled, and I threw up in my mouth a little bit. The end. It was not difficult, but I ended up giving this one a 1 out of 5 stars. And the only reason it's not a 0 or a half star is because while I did hate this story, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty evident, I really, really liked the humans evolved from an ancient alien's poop that went to Earth, swam in the ocean, and pooped in the ocean. I thought that was hilarious. I've never heard that concept before. It was so Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a story I love, that that alone was awesome, and I love the metal balls. They're stupid as hell, but I just loved the way they were like, you're kind of dumb. Why? She's on this train, right? Mia's on this train when she first gets there with the metal ball. The train immediately accelerates to almost the speed of light, and she's fine. She didn't even feel it move, and she looks at the metal ball, and she's like, are we really traveling this fast? And the metal ball's like, yup. And she's like, why am I not a paste on the wall? Why am I not reduced to goo? She goes, no, I'm sorry. She said, if that's true, why am I not gooed by the G-forces? And the metal ball looks at her and goes, you're on a world that is literally encompassing a black hole. I think it's safe for you to assume that we've kind of mastered gravity and inertia. So why don't you relax? And instead of saying, yep, you're right, that was a stupid question, my bad, she goes, well, I'm a scientist. I like to learn. And the metal ball is great. The metal ball fires back right off the bat. Well, you're trying to stop an inter-universal war and the eradication of your species. The learning will have to stop until that's complete. Oh my God, if the metal ball doesn't show up in more of his stories, I'm traveling over to his continent and I'm protesting in front of his house. That's right, Andrew. We need more metal ball. That is your cowbell, my friend. But those two aspects are the reason it's a 1 star. I really enjoyed that part of it, and so I couldn't give the story a half a star or a 0 star. I still hated it. It's still a 1 star, and I'm pretty confident that I made the right call on this one. But remember, this is just one guy's opinion. I'm not the end-all be-all. Click the link in the description below. Get the book. It's not expensive. It's worth it. There's a lot of good stories in this one, and I'm not even finished yet. And go check it out. Read it. It's an 18-page read. It's not going to take you long. Come on back and let me know if you think I nailed it, if I'm way off balance, or if somewhere in between. I'd love to have a conversation about it and hear what other people think, because honestly, overall, this book, in my opinion, is worth getting. Just not this story. And that's it. Another book review is in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks.